Hey, good evening, everybody. Happy Memorial Day. Hopefully you had a great day with some family, friends, took some time to remember those folks that have gone before us for good causes, and just maybe took a deep breath and enjoyed the weekend. And anyway, we are going to move on into a class for maybe some upper neck and shoulders. Did a 38-mile bike ride today, a little bit tight on the upper body, so we're going to work on that for me, and hopefully it'll benefit you as well. My name is Craig Snyder, yoga instructor for the YMCA of York and York County. I teach primarily at the Eastern York branch here in York, Pennsylvania, and look forward to being back there sometime soon and being able to teach. But until then, here we are, and we are going live. Feet are hip width apart, about 2 fists between your feet if you're not sure how wide your hips are. We're going to take a nice deep inhale and reach for the ceiling. Just opening up front side body, feeling that stretch, feeling tall, feeling open on the front side. And then exhale as you fold forward. Nice soft knees. Let your upper body just hang, especially your neck. Relax that neck. Relax your back. Tell you what, let's cross our hands underneath here. Add a little bit of weight for that upper body to hang just a little bit straighter. A little bit of gravity helping us here. Again, knees stay soft. Just breathing in, filling up. And exhaling. And with each exhale, I'm relaxing maybe just a little further toward the floor. Slowly going to start to roll up, releasing hands and arms. One vertebra at a time, nice and slow, coming all the way up to stand. Head and neck are last to come up. And once your head and neck comes up, take your arms overhead again. I have a slight back bend here, not a lot, just a tiny bit. Opening up my shoulders. And exhale and fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Think long and strong through the base of your spine to the crown of your head. Hands can be on shins or it can be hanging. And fold forward. And again, slowly coming up to stand, rolling up nice and slow. Once your head and neck comes up, we're going to inhale, arms overhead. Let your right hand fall behind your head to your left shoulder. Left hand comes behind your head to your right shoulder. I'm adjusting here so that I'm not pushing my head forward, chin to chest. I want to try to stay nice and tall. Flaring those shoulders from the side. You might see I'm trying to stay upright. I'm trying not to add a lot of back bend here, but I'm bringing those shoulders back. And on my next inhale, reaching arms overhead again. And exhale and fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale and fold. Slowly coming up to stand. I'm ragdolling all the way up that stand. Nice rounding. Upper body comes up. Head and neck are last as they come up. Going to reach arms overhead on my next inhale. And side bend to the right. I'm going to go back and forth a couple of times. I'm not going real deep to start. Inhaling up the center, and exhaling over to the left. Lower back gets tight, riding on a bicycle as well. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale and fold. Maybe you went for a hike or a jog or doing some garden work, yard work. All of that will tighten that lower back. So this is a good way to loosen up a little bit. Going back and forth. Each time I'm going into the side bend, I'm going maybe just a little further into the bend, reaching further down my leg with this free hand. Inhaling up. Exhaling into the fold, into the bend on each side. Last time over here on the left. And bringing arms overhead. Reaching for the ceiling, trying to get those hands nice and high, but I'm bringing my shoulders down away from my ears. You have to engage your shoulders, kind of rounding them down your back to pull these shoulders down away from ears. And then just let your arms fall to the side. You're gonna let your right ear fall to your right shoulder. Just letting gravity work here. I'm not pushing it. I'm just letting gravity work on the weight of my head. And back up to center, and left ear to left shoulder. Head back up to center, and letting chin fall to chest. If you want to add just a little extra here, it's okay to just let your hand rest on the crown of your head. Don't pull down, just let it rest. The extra weight of that hand just being there will bring that chin a little further forward. And then releasing that hand if it's there and bringing your head back up. I'm going to start to rotate my head around in a circle on its natural axis. So I'm not pushing in any one direction with muscle. I'm just starting with the tilt and then letting my chin fall forward around the other side and to the back. Again, I'm not going very far in any direction. It's just rotating the natural resistance on the axis of your neck, wherever the muscles make that neck start to slow down or stop. That's as far as I'm going. I'm going to reverse direction. Coming chin to chest, and then slowly bringing that head back up to center. You can reach right hand behind my back and grab my left wrist. Bending that left elbow, you see it chicken winging out there to the side, and I'm pulling with my right arm out to that right arm out to the right side. Letting chin be up, ear fall to the ear, right shoulder. We're going to go to both sides, so it's okay either way. Coming back up to center, just gently going over to the left. You might feel a tingly sensation in your shoulder. Bring that ear back up and over to the right side. One more time, bring up to center and gently over to the left. Bring your head back up to center. We're going to switch hands. Right arm is behind, chicken winged. I'm grabbing it with my left hand. Left hand is holding right wrist, and I'm pulling to the left. I'm letting my left ear fall to my left shoulder, so I'm letting the ear fall to the side with the chicken wing. Back up to center, right ear to right shoulder. Again, just gently on that opposite side. You get a really intense stretch in the shoulder, stretching the nerve here, so you again might get that tingly feeling. Back up to center and over to the chicken wing side again. Left ear, left shoulder. Last time, head up to center and over to the opposite side. Right ear, right shoulder. Bring your head back up to center and release those hands. I'm going to turn my head to the right. I'm going to look over my right shoulder. I'm going to try to get that head turned as far to the right as I can. I'm placing my hand onto my chest so that I feel like I'm not turning my upper body to go. I'm just turning my head on the neck. And when I get as far as it'll go, natural stop, letting chin fall to chest. Bring head back up to center, through center, and over to the other side. Turning and looking over my left shoulder. Hand here to make sure I'm not feeling like I'm turning upper body. Just turning my head. When it feels like I've gotten all the full range of motion, I'm letting chin fall to my chest, or to my shoulder rather, sorry. Bring head back up to center and look forward. Take arms overhead. Side bend to the right. Inhale up to center, over to the other side. Back and forth one more time. You should feel a little looser in that whole upper body and the lower back. And hands come down. Going to step just a little wider, just more than hip width, probably shoulder width. And feet can be at 10 and 2, so you feel a little comfortable here in this stance. And knees can be soft. And I'm going to just fold forward. Bringing hands behind my back, and I'm interlacing my fingertips. Hands are resting on my back to start. Again, those knees are soft. Neck is relaxed. And I'm going to start to raise my hands off of my back toward the ceiling. I like to keep palms together here, but you can have palms apart. My hands tend to slip apart without holding palms clasped together. But it's your choice. You get a little more range of motion with an open palm. Bringing those shoulder blades together as those hands go up toward the ceiling. Bringing those hands back down, releasing fingers. Hands come to the floor. Inhale, halfway lift. Again, think long and strong through your spine. Exhale and fold. Slowly coming up. So we've hit the upper body, shoulders, neck structure pretty well at this point. we're going to start to move lower down our body. I'm going to take that same wider stance and let upper body start to swing and sway. I'm working into middle back and a little bit of lower back. We're going to go a little wider stance. So if you want to turn sideways on your mat, if you're not already there, it might be a little easier on your soles of your feet, maybe a little less slippery. I'm just coming back to center. Again, I'm taking that little wider stance and really bending those knees nice and strong, horse stance. And I'm folding forward. Hands come down to the floor, and I'm going to walk my hands to the right and up like I'm walking up the face of a clock. And I'm turning my upper body to the right, going up, going across the top as I straighten back to the front, and turning left and going back down. I'm just going around in that circle. You can look all the way to the side until you get to the top if you like. Or you can keep that upper body facing forward and kind of do moves from the hip. Do one more time around and then switch direction. And going back the other way. I'm starting out with the turn to the side for 2, and then I'll do 2 facing forward. And then stopping at the bottom. Again, I'm just hanging, letting that upper body be heavy. You can cross your hands here at your elbows. Or you can just hold your elbows. I like the cross hands, it's a little more relaxed. I'm just breathing in, filling up. Letting my body really relax on the exhale. Especially the cervical spine area around your neck. Releasing hands and inhaling and coming up halfway. Exhale, fold, hands are still down on the floor, and then heel toeing feet back together into a normal stance. And we'll come to the front of our space or the front of your mat. We'll start to move down a little further, moving into hips. Reach arms overhead. Exhale and fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale and fold. Hands come down, and we're going to step the right foot back into a high lunge. Soft back knee. Straightening that back leg a little bit so it's easier to slide this left foot back into a high plank. Not staying here long, and then lower all the way to the floor. We'll do a series of cobras. We're starting very slow. Feet are together, fingertips are tops of shoulders. I'm going to push up just slightly, belly button stays on the floor. Elbows are in nice and close. And then lower. We're going to come up halfway, teenage cobra. Pushing down into the floor with your hands. Elbows will stay bent, but belly comes off the floor this time. Again, those elbows are in nice and close. That makes you pull your shoulder blades together in the back. And then lower. fuller version of Cobra. Straighter elbows this time. They can stay bent if you have a really tight lower back. Otherwise, if it's comfortable and you feel nice and loose, you can come all the way up to straight elbows if you like. Gaze is out in front of you, about 2 to 3 feet. Trying not to lift that head too high and crane your neck. Just a nice push down into the floor with your arms and hands. Coming back on the knees. If you feel like you're stretching too far apart here, we're going to go into a downward dog. So you may feel like you need to just bring knees a little bit forward. That's fine. Toes press down into the floor and hips come up. Downward dog. And we're going to walk it out. Bend one knee, straighten the other knee. You go back and forth. And then we're just going to move to the front of our space. You can either use this walking motion, or if you feel tight in the lower body, you can bring a knee down to the floor, step the other foot forward, and then just stand up. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale and fold. Coming up to stand, taking arms overhead. Exhale and fold. Inhale, halfway lift. We're going to go runner's lunge on the other side. So upper body comes forward into fold, hands come down, step the left foot back. High lunge, runner's lunge, soft back knee. You can even pulse here if that feels good. Just try to let my body weight settle into the lunge so I can feel that hip flexor opening. We're going to slide that right foot back. I'm straightening that back leg, makes it easier to slide the right foot. And then lower. Pushing up for Cobra again. This time come back onto your knees and take your knees wide and keep your toes touching. Let your upper body come down to the floor. And we're going to smooth out our breath. I like to stack my forehead on top of hands, stacked on top of hands. And just breathing in. Filling up on the inhale. Letting it all out, nice and smooth on the exhale. You can either exhale through your nose or your mouth at this point. Breathing in, filling up on the inhale. Full, complete exhale. And then I'm coming up onto all fours. My hands will be under my shoulders, knees, under hips. Going to work on wrists here just a little bit and toes just a little bit. Incorporating back, and then we'll move from that into a little more intense hip opener. So we'll do some cat-cows. Inhale and let your belly fall. Just let belly just drop toward the floor. At the same time, crown of your head toward the ceiling, and tuck your tailbone toward the ceiling as well. Middle back is a nice dish shape. On your next exhale, just push the middle of your back up toward the ceiling and bring your chin in toward your chest. Inhale, belly falls. We're just going back and forth between these two poses, cat and cow. Cow, exhale and arch, back going toward the ceiling into cat. Inhale, belly falls. One last time in arch, back toward the ceiling in cat. And then back to neutral. Toes pressing down into the floor. If you don't have all the toes getting down into the floor, maybe you can even just reach back and help those toes into place. And I'm setting my weight back on my heels. Stretching toes, stretching plantar tendons in the bottom of my feet. Again, if you did any of those things that I mentioned earlier, bicycling, running, yard work, mowing the lawn, gardening, your feet will be fatigued, toes a little tired. It's a good stretch, giving your feet a little bit of love. Then bring your upper body forward. I'm going to turn my fingers out to the sides, each side. I'm very gently leaning to one side, into the shoulder, and then the other. My hands are a little wider than shoulder width, and I'm just leaning so that the shoulder is over top of the hand. Just going nice and slow here. Again, any of those activities be fatiguing for your wrists and your hands, forearms. It's a nice stretch for them. Coming back to neutral, and I'm coming up off of my hands. I'm going to turn my hands so that palms are up. I'm going to keep weight back on my heels so that I'm not putting too much weight on my hands and wrists, but I'm going to bring hands down to the floor. And I'm adding a little bit of weight onto those hands. My fingers are starting to point inward towards themselves, and I'm rotating, patting, just lifting and depressing, lifting and depressing my hands down into the floor or the mat. And each time I'm pressing down, I'm rotating fingers just a little more inward. Just pressing down and rotating. You feel a nice stretch in that carpal tunnel area around your wrists, especially the top of your wrist where the hand and the wrist meet. Now I'm rotating those hands back outward, fingers back outward. Coming up off of hands and just shaking them out. Getting some fluid back in that joint, blood moving around. Pop your fingers. Shake them again. And then bring hands down under your shoulders, toes into the floor, and hips come up, downward dog. And walk that out. Bend one knee, straighten the other leg. And we're going to move to the front of our space again. You can walk, use this walking motion, or you can float if it's in your practice. Or if you're tight hips, knees, and all that, you can drop a knee to the floor, bring the other foot forward, and just stand up. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Coming up to stand. It's a nice, slow flow, relaxing for the evening. Winding down for the day. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale and fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale and fold. Hands come down, right foot steps back, and the knee drops down to the floor. Promised we're going to open those hips a little bit. Top of the back foot, right foot is on the floor. Hands forward and up. As your upper body comes up into a crescent lunge, supported by your knee. We're going to open the hip flexor a little more by letting your lower body slide forward. And you can add a back bend here. Back bend is optional. Just in that lunge, you might have enough opening for your hip. And then bring your hands forward. Both hands come down to the floor inside of that front foot. And I'm going to sweep my right hand up toward the ceiling, turning and twisting upper body. Top hand comes back down. We're going to turn and twist over to the other side. Left hand will go up. And bring that top hand down. We're going to slide the left foot back. And from here, we're going to go into a cobra by going chin, chest, and belly down to the floor. Hands are comfortably down on the floor. Arms are at an angle, just a little bit forward. Chin comes down, chest comes down, belly comes down. And out into a cobra. Coming back on the knees, toes into the floor, hips come up, downward dog. And we're transitioning to the front of your space, front of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Nice and slow, coming up to stand. Once that head and neck comes up, take arms overhead. Exhale and fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Hands come down, step the left foot back, knee down on the floor. Hands forward and up, that crescent lunge on the other side. Starting out, just letting the lower body just drift forward. Upper body can stay upright, or you can add that back bend if that feels good. And then bring both hands forward inside of that front foot. We're going to turn and twist upper body to the left, sweeping that left arm up toward the ceiling. You have a large muscle that runs outer part of the knee, maybe a little below, up through this outside part of your thigh to the hip IT band, iliotibial band. This twist really hits that IT band. Switching sides, top hand comes down and the right arm goes up. This one is really kind of hitting the quadricep, top part of your large muscle in your leg on the left side, a little bit of hip opener. Top hand comes down, slide that right leg back. We're going to chin, chest, and belly out into cobra again. Last time, if you found yourself a little bit feeling like you were out over your fingers, just let your hands slide forward before you go chin, chest, and belly. And into cobra. Come back on the knees, take knees wide and toes touch. Child's pose again, coming down to the floor. Letting the floor support all of your body. And while we're down here on the floor, we're going to add a side bend by walking our hands over to the right. Just reaching across my body, this left arm, the forward arm. I'm really reaching with that arm, trying to get it extended to the right and out in front. And then I'm letting my weight settle back down. Hip, left hip, settling down to left heel. And a really nice left side body opening. Nice stretch in the shoulder, lat muscles, triceps. I feel it all the way down to the hip. I'm going to walk my hands over to the other side and side bend to the left. Really reaching with this right arm, reaching forward and out to the left. And then letting my weight settle back, right hip to right heel. Coming back to center. Gonna find our way onto our backs, prone. If you have bright ceiling lights and you have the ability to turn them down or dim them, now would be a good time. Otherwise, just coming onto your back. And just taking a moment to enjoy the floor. Breathing in, filling up. Exhaling, pushing all the air back out. We'll continue with stretching those hips and lower back region. Left leg will stay flat on the floor, or if you have a super tight lower back, you can bend this left knee a little bit. Sole of the foot on the floor. Again, you can start here and see how it feels if you're not sure how that lower back is feeling. Bring that right knee in towards your chest, interlace fingers, wrap it around the knee, and hug that knee in towards your body. And if that feels okay, you can start to straighten that left leg. Nice. Tack your belly button to your spine. Pull that belly in. With each exhale, you can hug that knee just a little closer. And then we're going to switch legs. Extend the right or sole of the foot on the floor. Bring that left knee in. I like to start out with the bent knee. And if it feels okay, just straighten the leg. Same thing here. Pull belly into spine. Each exhale, hug that knee a little closer. And then bring that right knee in, hand on each knee. Nice massage, lower back. Knees rotating around in a circle. We're going to go in both directions at some point, so either direction is fine. At the bottom of each circle, the lower spine is getting nice massage down into the floor. And reverse directions, if you haven't already done that. And you can do it in short circles, go back and forth if you like. Soles of the feet come back down to the floor and release those hands. Hands down beside your hips for a little bit of support. We're going to do a couple of bridge poses, lifting hips up toward the ceiling. Simple ones at first. I'm not going crazy far. Pushing down through my calves, through the soles of my feet, trying to get equal weight distributed all across the bottom of my feet. Trying to keep knees in line with my hips so they're not laying outward or knocking inward. And just trying to stay in decent alignment. And then lower, hips back down to the floor. We're going to go back up into that bridge pose again here in a second. Take a nice deep inhale, breathe in, fill up, and lift those hips up toward the ceiling. And lower. Trying to keep an arch away from my lower back. I'm trying to get my hips tucked a little bit, hips tucked up just slightly so that my lower spine is down on the mat. We're going to come up into a bridge and we're going to add a little twist here. This right hand, this right one is going to be down on the floor beside the hip and out of the way. And as I come up into a bridge, I'm going to start to twist. Left hand across the body to the right, reaching out in front, reaching as far as I can. Coming back out of the twist and down out of bridge. Same thing, other side, lifting hips and twisting to that left side. Untwist and unbridge. Remove a little more space here. Same thing again, each side. Coming up into bridge and reaching across with that left arm. Untwist. Back to bridge. Right arm reach across. Untwist and back down. Bring your knees in towards your chest, hand on each knee. Rotate those hips around in a circle again. Reverse direction. Bring your chin up towards your knees so you can reach through and grab the soles of your feet. Feet go up toward the ceiling and head comes back to the floor. And roll a little bit side to side. If you find you go too far and you kind of lose a balance point, it's okay. Knee will catch you. Come back up. Might even do that on purpose. Just going side to side. Kind of gives a nice massage in parts of that mid to lower back. I'm holding down on each foot. I'm holding down really firmly on the left. And I'm straightening my right leg. Stretching the big hamstring muscle in that right leg. Calf, a little bit of stretch in there as well. And then switching legs. I'm pulling down with the right and straightening the left. Bring that left foot back in, soles of your feet together, and release those feet. Let them fall down to the floor. Hands can be on your body if you like to feel your pulse and your heartbeat and your breathing. Floor if you like to feel a little grounded. Palms up if you like to feel some energy and kind of loose and relaxed, whichever feels good for you. Just breathing in, filling up here in Supta Baddha Konasana. Prone, cobbler's pose. Just breathing, taking a moment to just Do nothing but breathe. And bring those knees back together. So you can reach arms out and bring tops of your hands down to the floor. I'm going to give myself a little more room here. Starting out with palms down beside hips. I'm going to come up into a bridge and at the same time take my arms overhead and bring my hands, palms up all the way down on the floor. So it looks like this. And lifting those hips, reaching arms overhead. Hands come down, backs of hands on the floor, palms in the air. And I'm moving slowly and bringing those arms back up as I lower hips. Everything landing pretty close in timing. I'm going to do that 2 more times. Reach arms overhead, lifting hips. As I'm inhaling, hands are coming down, hips are going up. And as I'm exhaling, hands are coming back up, hips are coming down. And last, hands are coming back, palms down. 1 more time. Hips and hands going up. And then the hands start to come down. Palms up. And reversing that all the way back to the floor. I'm going to add a little core element here just so we can say we've done some work. We're not going to do a lot of them, but they're a little intense. So we're going to moderate where we need to. Moderation will be bending the knees at any time, and if needed, all the way feet back down to the floor. I want you to bring those arms up in the air. Bring them down to the floor like we did a minute ago. And then bring those hands about 1 inch off the floor and turn your palms to face each other. Hold those hands and arms in that position. Try not to let them move. I'm going to take feet up toward the ceiling. I'm adding some internal rotation here on my legs so that it feels like maybe I'm holding a book between my knees. Just trying to keep some nice muscle tension in there. And I'm lowering my heels down to the floor. I'm not going to touch the floor. I'm going to get really close, about 1 inch. If you're not sure how close you are, you can let them touch and bring them back up 1 inch. And then take those feet back up to the ceiling. We're going to do that 3 more times. Lower those heels. Try to get about 1 inch off the floor. Touch if you need to and bring it back up 1 inch. That's an easy gauge. And then bring those feet back up to the ceiling. We have 2 more. Anytime you need to tap out, just relax back to the floor. Come back in if you'd like. Rest if you're finished with these. Heels coming down. And back up. And last one. Heels coming down. Back up. Soles of your feet together. Hands come into your belly and hearts. Let those feet come down to the floor. Knees are nice and wide. And windshield wiper, knees side to side. And the work is done. That's all the work we're going to do We're going to do lying side twist yet, and then move into Shavasana. And for lying side twist, we're going to do a gentle version here today. Those knees are wide again. Take a deep breath, breathe in through your nose, fill up, and then make a shh sound through your mouth with your exhale. We'll do that 2 times. Winding down like we're deflating our tire for the day. Tire did all the work today. Now it's done. It can rest. Breathe in through your nose, fill up, and let it out. Bring those knees back up. Soles of your feet are on the floor, and walk your feet edges of your mat, maybe even outside of the edges of your mat if you're on a mat. If not, take them out as wide as your shoulders, basically. I'm going to let my knees drift and fall to the right, keeping shoulders down on the floor. Hips are going to rotate and turn here, not just from a natural twist, but I'm trying to hold down somewhat this left side hip. It wants to raise. I'm trying to keep it down a little bit, getting a nice stretch here in this large top muscle, the quadricep muscle on your top of your left leg. If this feels pretty easy and you'd like a little more stretch, you can take the right foot, stack it on top of the left knee. That extra weight will turn that hip a little further. Again, you're keeping your shoulders down on the floor. If you're holding tension in your body, let your head relax, just the neck relax. You might be holding tension in your arms. Wiggle your fingers and let them relax. If you're holding tension in your feet and your legs, just wiggle your toes and let them relax. I'm taking this right foot off of that left knee and bringing feet back on the floor, knees back in the air, feet are nice and wide. We're going to twist to the left. Let those knees just drift open, drift off to that left side. I'm trying to take that right knee back down toward the floor without yanking up. Shoulder stays down, hip stays as down as it can be. Again, if you need to stack that left foot on top of that right knee for a little added leverage here in that twist, just keep shoulders down on the floor. And again, it's another place, if you're holding any tension, just let that tension go. And then we're going to come into Shavasana. If the foot is stacked, take it off. Coming back, knees into the air. You can windshield wiper a little bit here if you just need to realign those hips and lower spine. And if you have lights that you can turn off or dim way down, it's a good time to do that. Coming on to your back if you're not already there. And I'm going to start to relax from my head down to my toes, lifting my head a little bit so my ears are away from my shoulders, letting it set back and just moving my head some, relaxing it, shrugging, lifting shoulders off the floor a little bit, keeping them down away from the ears. If they do come up around your ears, just lift your head, readjust your shoulders so they stay a good distance away from your ears. Rolling hips and knees a little bit side to side, maybe feet side to side. And then relaxing all that. Hands can be palms down or palms up. I like palms up. And letting arms come out to where I feel comfortable. I don't feel like I'm being pinched up or too bound to here. I have lots of room to just do whatever and move, just relax. I'm letting my eyes unfocus behind my eyelids. Nothing to look at when your eyes are closed, and just letting them relax in their socket. Letting the line of my jaw be soft, just relaxing that jawline. But if in time it's yesterday, your picture's gonna bring it home to me again. Area around my nose is relaxed. Forehead is nice and soft, smooth. And if it's not enough, I wanna see the stuff the world has got in store. Smooth breath. I'm just breathing in, filling up on the inhale, and exhaling completely, letting all that air nice and smooth back out of my body. We're going to change a little pattern in our breath. We're going to breathe in through our nose, fill up as full as you can fill, and then open your mouth as wide as you can open it and just yawn that air back out. We're going to do that a couple of times. Just breathe in through your nose, fill as full as you can fill. And on the exhale, yawn that mouth open and just let that breath roll out, mouth as wide as you can go. One more time. Breathe in through your nose, fill up, and then yawn it out. Just smoothing out your breath. Just a nice steady inhale, nice steady exhale. Slowly start to wiggle fingers and walk the soles of your feet back onto the floor. You're going to roll onto one side and cradle your head so your head is nested and your neck is not stretching. Take a nice deep inhale through your nose and just let it roll off your tongue out of your mouth. Yawns are fine too. And when you're ready, with eyes closed, we're going to come up to easy seated Sukhasana, cross-legged, crisscross applesauce. Keeping eyes closed. Again, hands, palms together at your heart center. Take a nice deep inhale, breathe in through your nose, and just sigh it or yawn it out through your mouth. Thank you for joining me for an hour. Hopefully you enjoyed the class. Hopefully it did your body some good. Hopefully you had a nice weekend. Looking forward to a nice week ahead. May you all be at peace. May you all be safe. May you all be well. And may you all be happy. Namaste. Thank you, folks.